Another summer gardening season has come and gone, and Master Gardener Peter Coppola has some tips for closing your garden and preparing for next year's growth.
So the best thing you can do for your spring plants in your flower beds is to clean the beds up in the fall. This is a peony. Going to chop it all up. This will help the microbes in the compost pile eat them a lot quicker. All of this becomes a blanket over the winter, and that's where the bad guys will hole up over the winter. Right now, when it gets cold during the day, all of this soil will heat up, and under all this debris will heat up even more because the radiated heat from the sun won't be able to escape. So at night, when this freezes over, this will stay warm and thawed out. So the bad guys will have all the way into December before the ground freezes. And that's not good. So you want to clean all of this up. Quickest way to do it with daylilies is with a hedge trimmer. And then just take the whole mess. This is where they're going to hang out. That's all the bad microbes and the bad insects. You want to get rid of them. And the other reason for cleaning it up now is because in the spring, your new shoots will begin to come up from the crowns here. And if all of this debris is still on the soil in the spring, when you start pulling it all up, you're going to break the new shoots. And each one of those new shoots could be a flower. And you want to make sure you leave enough above the soil line so that you recognize in the spring, when you purchase new shrubs and flowers, that you have something growing here. Now let's talk a little bit about tender bulbs. So by definition, a tender bulb is a plant that will not overwinter in the ground in our climate. As long as these are green, they're making sugar and storing it in the bulbs for next year, which will mean bigger flowers next year. After your first freeze is when you dig them up. But let's dig one up now just to see what they look like. So this was actually a couple of bulbs on the mother bulb in the spring, and it has since grown and split on its own. For a couple of weeks, all of this area will brown out, the stem will break off, and then you can store this in some sawdust in a pail in a cool spot in the basement. By contrast, your gladiolas are a corm, which means it's just a big mass of sugar stored in a ball, and that has to come up also or they won't survive. And then around the edges are smaller gladiola bulbs. We call them cormels, cormel, and these will be plants next year. These will not bloom next year. This will bloom. Anything larger than an inch in diameter will give you a flower, but you have to dig these up also. So over here is a bed of perennial asters. These are a blue flowering plant. They're very pretty flowers, and I want to propagate them. So before I cut them back to the ground, because this is again a herbaceous perennial that dies back to the ground, I'm going to save some of these seed heads. What was the flower, but inside the base is where the seeds are located. So all of these are the seeds. So what I'm going to do is, right here, I'm just going to stir a couple in and see if they come up in the spring. But I'm going to take a couple of these, take them indoors, save the seed, and next spring I'll plant them indoors and see if we can get some flowers up.
B News would like to thank Master Gardener Peter Coppola for sharing his expertise. We look forward to more growing and gardening next year. For B News, I'm reporter Tad Stefanak.